There are some vowel sounds in American English that, if you pronounce them incorrectly, can actually cause you to not be understood by those around you and the people you're talking to. Today, we're going to be looking at two of those vowel sounds, which are, for instance, the S sound, like in best or get, and the A sound, like in late or save. We want to make sure we're not pronouncing these two vowels the same way because we're trying not to confuse people when we talk. So hopefully we can avoid that. Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show. Wake up, American. We're here Monday through Friday, right around 8 a.m. New York, to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of pronunciation practice for the day. To guide you in this process, there is me. Hello, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. It's one of the four keys to a natural sound in American English, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonant sounds and trying to strengthen your vowel sounds. And today, again, we're looking at the S sound and the A sounds. It's not just me. We got some people here. Milad's here. Malav is here. Good evening, sir. Hope you're doing okay. So let's just kind of break down some basics for both of these sounds, and then we'll get into the actual pairs themselves. So the sound, like in best or get, this sound. What's happening is, I'm having a low placement, so I want to make sure that I'm feeling my diaphragm. Again, your diaphragm's are right around here. You want to feel the projection coming from there. You want to feel lots of breath coming through, lots of resonance and things like that. In terms of what you want to do with your general mouth and tongue, you don't need your mouth to be very wide for this, so you can close your mouth a little bit more. The back of your tongue is high, the middle of your tongue is high, and the front of your tongue is all high. And our goal is going to be like an sound. You don't want a lot of tension in your lips. Okay, most vowels in English don't want a lot of tension here. So you can get these a little bit more relaxed, close your mouth more, and make sure that the back of your tongue is high enough, because we're kind of like, we're blocking air right here, but we want lots of air through here. It's going to sound a little contradictory, but we want lots of air through your throat, but not a lot of air passing through the top of your throat, back of your mouth. We don't want air coming through there. We're kind of blocking it. That's why the back of your tongue is high. And again, the goal is like an sound. If that's still difficult, what you can also do is try closing your mouth more and raising your tongue a little bit higher. Uh, uh, What we don't want to happen is we don't want this to turn into an ah, sound, or an a, a. Okay. So some examples of words that have that sound. So if you're looking for some word examples, so some examples of words that have the sound. So for instance, a word like best, like best. A word like get, like get. A word like then, then. Or a word, for instance, like I don't know, like rest, rest. Those are all examples of an S sound. What's up to Emmanuel? Good to see you. Let's now look at our A sound. So for this A sound, now what we're going to do is we're going to take the back of our tongue down. So you want the very back of your tongue down because we're trying to get a little bit more air through over there. It can help to, if you find this sound difficult, I would experiment with the front of your tongue. For some people, it could be helpful to have the front of your tongue a little higher, like A. For some people, it's helpful to have the front of the tongue lower, like A. I'm not too particular. Whatever is easier for you, as long as we're getting the A sound. But the real key is, again, we don't want the back of your tongue blocking too much of the breath for this sound. The other thing I will say as well, you can open your mouth a little bit wider for this as well. A. Compare that to like an uh, a, a, uh, a. For those of you watching, you can see my jaw kind of move there. I'll show a different angle as well. So again, uh, uh, a, a, uh, uh, a. Just to kind of give you some examples of the sounds we're going for. Okay. Let's now then take a look at our word pairs here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pronounce the vowel sound first, and then we're going to pronounce the actual word. So we'll do both the vowels, then we'll do the pair. I'd like you to try to repeat after me. So our first pair here, it's like a, s, ace, a, s, ace, a, red, raid, a, red, raid, a, pen, pain, a, pen, pain, a, less, lace, a, less, lace, a. Oh, I switched order on that last pair. I'll have to rewrite this, but it's going to be fell, fail, a, fell, fail. So there's a couple sounds that I do want to touch on here. I wish I had like an edit button. So that last pair again should be fell and fail, not fail and fell. Just a note. Sorry for the confusion. But let's take a look at a couple of these combinations to highlight. Let's begin with looking at pen and pain really quick. So for pen and pain, just taking a look at how we link these vowels onto these consonants, because that can be a little bit tricky for some people. So make sure again that you can just pronounce the vowels on their own. It's like a, a. Then let's see if we can put an N sound after this, like N, ain, N, ain. And some people have a little bit of difficulty trying to link the vowel into the consonant N. So make sure when you're pronouncing your N sound, it doesn't sound like n, where your placement goes really, really high. It's not n. It's going to be more n. Do you hear a difference between n and n? And I'm highlighting this because if you use a high placement, unintentionally, it can cause everything to sound really high placement wise. Like pen, pen. Can you hear the difference there? Pen, pen. Okay, so, and that's really just, I'm just changing the placement on the N sound, just that. But you can hear it makes a pretty big difference in terms of how the words sound. So we want to be really careful with that. So do be careful with your placement for your N sound. The other thing I want to take a look at for the A sound. So this A is a diphthong. Okay, but remember that in American English, we treat diphthongs a little bit differently. And in my opinion, instead of like viewing them as two separate sounds where we kind of shift to each of them, it's like a, I don't think that's going to give you the most natural sound in American English. My suggestion instead is going to be, hey, let's try to like squeeze it together to just kind of make a single sound. So more a. So instead of a, can we just do an a sound, like the letter a, things like that. Okay. So when we take a look at a word that has this diphthong with the A sound, we want to make sure we don't shift the vowel. So it's not A, and sometimes you see that with the letter N. So we want to be careful. It's not A, and it's also not ain, where the placement goes crazy high. It's ain, pain, pain. A couple other words that have this N sound, like ain, rain, ain, stain, stain, lane, lane, and cane, cane. If you feel like you're doing like lane, or like cane, or like stain, not the sound we're going for. That's not the sound we're going for. We want our placement to be a little bit lower. I also want to touch on the L sounds. Before we get to that, I just want to highlight, because we have something coming up very, very soon. If you'd like to join us on June 20th this week, and then June 27th next week at different times. So on the 20th, it's going to be 4 to 5:30 p.m. New York time. On the 27th, it's going to be 8:30 to 10 a.m. New York time. We're doing a workshop on pitches. We're talking about how do comedians use pitches in their speech in American English. So that way you can apply these principles to your own speech to become a lot more engaging in the way you talk and communicate with others, to help you sound a lot more natural. So if you're interested in trying to become more effective with how you're using pitch to become a more effective speaker, so that way you can really convey information in a way that people find more natural and more engaging, this is the workshop for you. Just know, if you sign up for one, I'm going to give you both. So I'm going to give you video recordings of both the workshops, and then you'll also get access to our video course pitch apprenticeship. So just to note, if you want to sign up for those, you need to do it soon, because they're coming up. The 20th is literally days away. And you can do that by going to this link here, fluentamerican.com for Pro Pitch Mastery. Okay. Some other things here. Zubaydah's here. Hello, Zubaydah. And I'll ask you, explain more detail about vowel shift before N, no shift. I understand no shift, reducing the sound. So again, let's use pain again as an example. If you say something like pain, you you're shifting your vowel a little bit right before ain, versus if we just do ain, 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 ain. Can you hear a difference between those? When you do ain, that's kind of like your shift, versus ain. There's not really a shift there. You can see this with a lot of vowels that link with the letter N. So for instance, a word like moon, sometimes people say like moon, moon, versus just moon, moon. We don't want to add a vowel in between the vowel and the consonant. We just want to go right from the vowel onto the consonant sound. Okay, that's when I say vowel shift, that's what we're talking about. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if that's still not clear. Okay. Nina's here. What's up, Nina? The last thing I wanted to talk about real quick. Let's look at our words here. Fell and fail. L sounds. So the S sound is not a long vowel. The S sound is not a long vowel, which means that when we link with the letter L, it's just going to go right to it. So just L. It's like L, L, fell. Or like L, well. Or L, bell. Okay, so we're not really doing anything with our vowel. We're just adding a dark L at the end. That's why you're hearing that at the end. Bell, fell, well. The A sound is a long vowel. That doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean it's like you hold it longer. What it means is that when you put an L after it, you want to change your vowel a little bit. So for instance, this word fail. When you have an A sound plus an O sound, you want to shift a little bit. Ale, ale. It's like fail. Do you hear that difference? Fell? I didn't have that O at the end. It was just like fell, fell, fell. But for fail, it kind of breaks, right? Fail, fell, fail, fell, fail. Another common example would be, for instance, this. It's like well, whale, well, whale, well, whale. Do you see well doesn't change the vowel at all? Well, but way, all. You can hear how it breaks almost into two parts. Whale, well, whale, well, whale. One final example for this with the letter L after your A sound is this. Tell, tail, tell, tail, tell, tail. All right, so those are your examples there, guys. If you have other questions about either of these vowel sounds, be sure to let me know. I do have to head out in a moment, but before I go, I did want to say thank you for being with me. Look, there's a million pronunciation resources out there. I'm aware of it. Look, there's so many channels teaching pronunciation. So the fact that you spent some time with us is greatly appreciated. Mila has some more examples with an A sounds, like west, waist, like a, way, west, waist. West, waist. Nina's bringing up an example with the S sound linking with an L, and the A sound linking with an L. It's like L, ale, yell, yale. Again, L, ale, yell, yale. Another example as well. It's like L, ale, gel, jail. L, ale, gel, jail. Exactly the same situation here. All right, with that, guys, I do have to run, but I'm happy to talk about this more. If you have questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll see them. We could talk about them in the future. I hope you guys have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon. You guys take care.